would go ahead and call this you did it to yourself, but quite frankly, given all the information that's being thrown out there right now, I have to say, Ethan, you did it to yourself, buddy.
Means 25% of their targets were civilians, okay?
Did you not just see that they killed 700 people?
But it doesn't matter because they're not a fucking real military. They're disorganized. And of course, there were people who did some fucked up ass shit. And civilians died as a consequence of that too.
It's war. Innocent people die. All right, so let's bring the Iraqis out, Iraqi terrorist group to your neighborhood and see if you care if people murder everyone you love.
Of course they did that. And that is completely fucked up.
Think about what they're saying when immediately after a terrorist attack, people are saying, I support Palestine. And what they don't mean Palestine, they mean Hamas.
The targets that they fucking killed, they're military. That's according to the Israeli numbers.
Even more than Israelis, perhaps, deserve to be burned alive by terrorists.
Like, bro, do you know what life is like? Have you read a book? Have you, like, watched anything that isn't, like, pure Zionist copium propaganda?
In fact, why don't you just make it easier? Why don't you just fly to ISIS and do them a favor and just let them, you know, just serve yourself on a platter.
Why is Israel so violent? Why do they not actually scale it back a little bit?
Freaks. Bloodthirsty,
I'm not sitting here and being like, oh, that's
man.
Totally justifiable. They
come to your neighborhood
that happens.
And they just start burning people alive, killing people, kidnapping kids, desecrating bodies.
I am much more interested in how that happened.
There was the sound of Ethan Klein, and it was actually an edited mashup video between him and Hassan Piker because they've been doing this podcast called The Leftovers. And recently they've been having some debates, but of course that was actually not those two really debating. Somebody actually put an edited clip together of these two arguing about Hamas and Israel. Of course, if you know who Ethan Klein is, then you obviously know what H3 Productions are. And quite frankly, you also at the same exact time know that Ethan for a very long time has been gearing his content towards a much, much more leftist audience. Now, guys, this video right here was originally supposed to be a video on how it is that the left is turning on one another and how they've responded to this whole Israel-Palestine ordeal. But I chose to break this up into two parts because I think this right here kind of encapsulates and kind of primes you for the rest of them. So make sure you guys stick around for the video that's going to come out on Friday. I'm just adding this one here out here tomorrow to just go ahead and just kind of throw this one out here because I quite frankly don't know where else to place it at. But still, I want to talk about this. So Ethan, as you guys know, he's been angling his content toward a more leftist audience and much, much more social justice warrior-oriented audience. Of course, he was a part of the whole BLM cargo cult, which was out there simping for BLM during the 2020 riots. And of course, he has been doing this podcast with Hassan Piker, Jink's nephew, who, by the way, is filing to run for president. Even though I went back and double-checked and found out that he technically cannot actually be president because he was not born here in the United States. Recently, these two have been going at it because with these whole little debates about socialism versus capitalism. And, you know, if I wanted to get somebody to debate the merits of capitalism or represent capitalism, Ethan Klein would not be the first person that I would actually throw out there. However, if you guys actually watch the debates, which of course I'll try to link this video from Sean Fitzgerald and this video here from Lauren Chen. And I also have another video to link in there from Stitch and Adam, which of course they made a lot of them on their actual debate. You will find out that Ethan is in fact smarter than Hassan Piker. I'm not joking. He's actually smarter than Hassan Piker. But then again, though, Hassan Piker's not exactly somebody who's a real brainiac. Not exactly somebody who's easy to debunk. I mean, I literally think that Hassan Piker is the funniest person on the platform, but not because he's funny, but more or less because he's stupid. And of course, he is also a part of this as well. And like I said before, he's been grifting to the left as far as his audience retention is concerned. As far as his audience, they view his content. And of course, they recently, over this whole Israel-Hamas thing, Ethan has gotten a bit of an eye-opening experience, as I'll play some clips for you here in a second. This first one, of course, is roughly 30 seconds long, but I've also got to remind you guys of the hypocrisy of Ethan Klein, too, in this video, so make sure you guys stick around for the full video. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one first.
If you think Hamas is dope, just remember that you, even more than Israelis, perhaps, deserve to be burned alive by terrorists and your whole family murdered in front of you. So there you go. In fact, why don't you just make it easier? Why don't you just fly to ISIS and do them a favor and just let them, you know, just serve yourself on a platter for them because you deserve it. Fucking scumbags. Freaks. bloodthirsty, savage, fucking.
Basically, what happened was that his audience was just throwing the comments in there, super chats, all this stuff. And of course, Ethan, he can decide which ones he wants to answer and which ones he does not want to answer. And of course, he practically is basically saying, you know what, look, maybe both sides are wrong here, which is what he said at first. But of course, this little section here is actually a little bit deeper because he does eventually push back on these people. And of course, he eventually says exactly what it is that most people out there are saying, most people with some form of common sense. Hamas, they went into Israel. They decided to kidnap a bunch of people, attack the concert, killed a lot of innocent people. And of course, the left is crying that Israel is killing innocents themselves. Now, I do not like the idea of civilians and kids getting in the way, but as an Iraq war veteran, I can tell you right now that it's not uncommon for these people, of course, this were being Palestinians, those right there of a certain faith. I can't say it over on the platform or else I get a yellow dollar sign. That they do love to put like little children and women and innocents in front of them. They love to use kids as human shields. That's exactly what they do. Not to mention the fact that Israel did, of course, say on loudspeaker over and over and over again and drop several leaflets in Gaza before going in that, you know what, dude, you guys might want to get out of here. I understand civilians don't really have anywhere to go, but I'm pretty sure you can find somewhere or get the hell out of our way because we're fighting the men of the country and those enemy combatants that, quite frankly, may be women because they're not exactly above using women either. Of course, Ethan is finding out that his audience, which, by the way, is full of mostly leftists, are not exactly okay with people who are of a certain lineage or a certain religion or a certain ethnic group, whichever one you might want to use, that involves the Star of David. And of course, they keep bringing up stuff like 1948 and all that stuff there, but yet we can't seem to get beyond the fact that somebody threw a rock at somebody else's house and destroyed something, just kind of using it as a bit of a parable here, and the other side decided that they wanted to go over and throw a rock back, and of course, to ensure that person would not destroy their property again, obviously they would eventually just invade, which is exactly what's going on in the Middle East. It's just kind of what happens. You can't just punch somebody in the face or kill a bunch of people who live in a certain nation and not expect them to retaliate, which is exactly what the left is trying to say right now. I did the video earlier today on the whole Ben Shapiro, Andrew Tate thing, and I made that point very, very clearly, I think, that while Andrew Tate was screaming for peace, and even though I'm not a fan of Shapiro, I think Shapiro was a little bit more on the right, but then again, at the same time, you could also say that he was wrong because he's not going to be fighting himself, that Andrew Tate was only asking for peace 3 days after he was screaming Allahu Akbar and Allah demands justice, which is exactly what those of the Islamic faith would scream and holler going into combat before they go kill their infidels. The only reason why you're asking for a truce right now is because you're about to get your ass whipped, or of course you're in the process of getting your ass whipped. Quite frankly, should not be shocked that this is actually happening. I mean, don't worry, we'll go through some of the recent things that has been said here recently, of course, especially on his actual podcast. But I also got to say this too. Ethan Klein's not the only one who's finding this out. David Pakman is finding it out. He put this out on Twitter the other day, and even Destiny, too, to a certain degree. However, I want you to know right now that while I'm showing you guys these tweets, I'm not reading these tweets. The reason why is because Pakman acted like he was shocked that there were so many people who were anti-Semitic in his audience. I hate to tell you this, but the vast majority of leftists hate it. I want to go ahead and say this right now. Liberals and leftists are the most racist people out there, okay? Don't worry, I'll have videos out on this topic, especially come next year we start doing video essays. I start using actual studies. But these right here are the most anti-Semitic and these right here are the most racist people in existence, okay? A lot of it is through ignorance. A lot of it is through the fact that they come from mostly white areas. A lot of it's also because they feign inferiority when in reality they really and truly just don't like the person of the opposite skin. They want them out of their neighborhoods. Why do you think they want their neighborhoods set up in residential areas? Why do you think that's really segregation when you actually think about it? Why do you think they're okay with critical race theory? I mean, just kind of ponder that for a second before we go any further. But need I remind you that him and Hassan Piker, they've been saying crap like this here.
So you could sit in your parents' basement and cry about it.
Yeah.
And I'd do it again. Give me the spear.
Uh-oh.
I'll do it again.
You're going to piss off the weird hysterical nerds, dude.
Good. If Jesus was here on a cross, I'd spear him.
No, he's not going to. That'd be funny if he got banned
No, I'm
for
not
that.
gonna get
That's
in trouble
an
for that.
insane thing. No shot.
Oh,
Give me the hammer and the...
nailing Christ to the cross again. Of course, Ethan thinks this type of stuff is funny, and of course, I understand shock humor very well. I'm trying to be an edgy comedian, this, that, and the other. Of course, when I say edgy stuff, I try to stay off of religion. I try to stay away from that. But Ethan obviously has his thing. And you figure as a Christian, I would be offended. But then again, there after a while, when you hear so much drivel and so much crap come from the mouth of what is exactly, it's just a great big giant sewer like Ethan Klein, after a while, you just don't get offended. But you do laugh at him when you see his audience turn on him like here.
So think about what they're saying when immediately after a terrorist attack, people are saying, I support Palestine. And what they don't mean Palestine, they mean Hamas. Let's say the Native Americans, they come to your neighborhood and they just start burning people alive, killing people, kidnapping kids, desecrating bodies. And the first take is, you know, I support the Native American revenge. I support Native American militia. I support Native Americans. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, of course I support Native Americans too, but like, did you not just see that they killed 700 people? You know? Somebody said I found it oh, maybe I shouldn't read that. It did catch my attention though, and it wasn't about this. I'm only saying that from what I saw, there are people on fucking Twitter, prominent lefties, who are so callous. They feel nothing for these fucking dumbest analogy possible. Shut the fuck up. What's dumber? What could be? It's right on. How's it dumb? The Iraqi one, the Native American one, they're pretty much right on. It's war. Innocent people die. All right, so let's bring the Iraqis out, Iraqi terrorist group to your neighborhood and see if you care. If people murder everyone you love, burn them alive. You're such fucking...
This whole thing about I want to support Native Americans, and it's always like the left. They always tend to choose the side that, quite frankly, that they feel oppressed, but in reality, they're really not as oppressed as you think. Speaking of the natives, and I feel like I can say this, and I stand pretty firm on this position. I understand that Native Americans were done wrong. They were driven off their land, all that type of stuff there, and quite frankly, I'm glad it happened. Seriously, I'm glad that it happened. You know why I'm glad that it happened? Because if we had not done that, we would not be in this great country that we have today. You more than likely would not be able to have the freedom of speech to be able to say the stupid crap that you do. I mean, dude, there are hundreds of thousands of men and women who have served this nation who have died for your right to be a complete, total dumbass. Now, while I do feel for Native Americans, and I do want Native American culture to be fully restored, and I actually like Native American culture, I got to go ahead and remind people. When they bring up the Black Hills, I need to go ahead and say this right now. The Sioux, they conquered the Cheyenne conquered the Pawnee, each tribe conquered one another. I don't know the exact order, but they all conquered one another. In some cases, they even asked us for the firearms to actually help them do it. Fact of the matter is that these people were conquering one another long before we actually drove them off the land. And as a matter of fact, as a result of this, especially in the case of the Black Hills, we have told them that they could have that land back if they just choose to pay a price. They don't want to do it. They just want to put up casinos. It's like the other day when I saw this video that Count Dankula did, where apparently in the United Kingdom, they've got this issue with voter ID and people are complaining about it. And all you got to do is just simply go down to the store and get the ID so that way you can vote. I had to look at Count Dankula, look squarely in the actual phone or whatever camera he was using, and simply just point out every time he would say something, he'd go, just get the ID. Just get the ID. It's like these people are just, there's just like no, there's a rock, like a literal rock in their brains, okay? One side goes into another side's area. They beat, rape, pillage, torture, and obviously these people are very, very emotional. And I'll expand a little in a second here in a second. They do this. They burn the places down. They kill a bunch of people. They take them hostage. And now they're mad and upset that the nation that they struck has decided to strike back and go into their country and practically destroy it. That's called war. Now, I don't condone the killings of innocents. I really and truly do not. But still at the same time, though, it is called war. And I keep mentioning the Jake Shields tweet from the other day where he decided to bring up the fact that Israel was in the wrong because they stripped down their Palestinian prisoners nude And of course, if you've ever been overseas, you've ever fought in Iraq or Afghanistan, then you would know that these people, of course, I'm talking about radical Islam, they have a tendency to think that, if I blow myself up in combat, I will immediately go to heaven and inherit 72 virgins. So a lot of times they'll stretch a bomb themselves. Sometimes they'll shove one up their ass and they'll run towards you and try to blow you up. I experienced this during both deployments in Iraq. It's called, they would take these things, these improvised explosive devices, and they put them inside dead animals' asses so that way it would blow up a vehicle when devil dogs or soldiers would drive by. That's just who these people are, and I guess Ethan is just now finding this out. But then again, though, Ethan doesn't really know a whole lot because Ethan is very, very much an insulated suburbanite. That's what the hell he always has been. So it's very easy for him to talk from his positions. His entire channel is being spoken from a position of actual privilege. Now, look, this whole thing about white privilege, I don't believe in white privilege, but if there was ever any privilege, it's definitely the suburban liberals. Ethan is finding out the hard way that the audience that he's been pandering to, that he's been angling his content towards, hates him. They hate him. They hate his wife. Guys, speaking of that wife thing, I've done 3 videos now on this topic. I didn't really plan on doing three videos. I really planned on only doing one, so that way I could prepare you guys for what's coming. But then it turned into 2 more, and there's obviously going to be 3 more to go on top of the second one. I mentioned in all these videos that in the country of Israel, everybody who is in Israel, man or woman, they eventually have to pull time in the military. The reason why is because Israel is a nation that is got the Gaza Strip. Egypt is to the south, Sudan, heavy Muslim population, don't exactly like Jews. Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, they're basically surrounded by a lot of people who want to get rid of them. And the thing is this right here, and of course I'm not going to invoke Bible prophecy in this video, I'm just giving you guys some just good old-fashioned common sense stuff. Everybody in Israel has to at some point in time join the military. And Ethan met his wife Higla in Israel, and Ethan's Jewish himself. Somebody made a video I can't show for you because YouTube will probably say it's too graphic. Of course, it was animated, and apparently it was a video with I'm just showing you guys a couple of pictures here. Apparently, they were saying that Hila had killed a bunch of innocent children or whatnot. I mean, they didn't say it per se like that, but they basically did up an animated video of her shooting at what appeared to be little Palestinian kids, Hamas, this, that, and the other, because she served in the Israeli military. I can go ahead and tell you right now that a bunch of leftists think because that I'm a prior service Marine that I'm an infidel too. They've basically got the same exact spirit. I mean, how the hell Ethan did not know this? It takes a special, it really and truly takes a special type of head being shoved up your ass to not know this. I really and truly don't know where to start. But basically, that is what's actually occurred, is that Ethan is figuring out that his audience deep down inside really and truly does not like him. Nobody ever accused Ethan of being smart, but then again, at the same time, just because a person is not smart does not mean that they're totally stupid. Of course, in Ethan's case, he proved himself in these little debates that he had with Hassan to have at least 2 or 3 more points in the intelligence quotient that Hassan did. But then again, though, when you're as low as Ethan Klein, there's really only one direction you really and truly can go, lower. That's basically what the hell is going on here, is that Ethan Klein is figuring out, he's waking up to the reality that the people in his audience, the people that, quite frankly, he panders to, really and truly don't like him. They think he's the scum of the earth, and now that he's responded to them, it's only going to get worse for him. Guys, with that right there being said, there's going to be a follow-up video coming out tomorrow. Oh, I forgot. I just wanted to throw this out here. The past couple of videos I've been saying that the $6 billion that was given to Iran that was actually going to be going to help Hamas out. My belief is that the money was supposed to be held on to and given to Hamas sometime next year, so that way they can invade Israel for electoral purposes to keep Joe Biden in office, because he's obviously very, very weak. What I forgot to mention is that the people who are in Hamas, Hezbollah, these people are the type of people that will bomb something and then come out and tell you that they did it. They're very, very emotional. That's part of the reason why I think they went ahead and did this, because the minute they got the money, they said, screw it, let's go ahead and hit Israel. And of course, Iran's about to allow Israel to take out Hamas and Hezbollah both. So I'm pretty sure you're probably going to hear a lot more leftist tears here in the near future. And don't worry, we'll be talking more about that on Friday. This video right here will be the second video released tomorrow to go along with the 3 o'clock video. So make sure you guys hit the like button on this video. Go ahead and watch that video as well, all the other ones. Please leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to get you guys' thoughts on this here. And please share the video. And if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. I want you to know right now that this right here is a viewer-funded channel. There is no Patreon. The only thing I ask for is just simply you watch the video and just simply hit the like button. put it down, listen to it if you want to, but please hit the like button and please share it. Of course, like I said, completely viewer funded. It is on you. With that there being said, I'll see you guys later.